Well, tonight I've got my transmission out, and tonight I'm actually going to go ahead and start stripping it down, at least pull the top cover off. Now, I did do a little bit of cleaning up with a little bit of old gasoline and a wire wheel. In these cold weather, the gasoline actually sticks around and does a really good job of helping start dissolve the grease. Plus, being old, don't really want to run it any motors. I did find the stamp here. Looks like, let's see, SA2. I don't know what that means. Clean that off. You see that there. And then here is the box serial number. So you can see there's no suffix on there, which means it's a Suffix A transmission. And you see it's kind of cleaned up pretty nice. There's some pretty thick goobers of guck that are on there. Like, I had to go through that with a screwdriver, and yeah, that doesn't want to dissolve or wire wheel away easily. But yeah, anyway, so I've started doing it. I pulled off one of these angle brackets. There are two on the transmission. There's one over here, and as you can see, it holds in the spring. I'll show you that as I pull it out. There's another one on the other side. What these do is they hold in this spring, a little rubber centering device. Looks like that got a little rusty, maybe. I don't think that's yellow paint. And what's in there behind that is the is like a little ball detent to whatchamacallit, to help the selectors not select more than one gear at any given time. Oh yeah, I told you that it was engaging the whatchamacallit, engaging gears the other day. I'll show you that. I'll put her into third, which should not work, but I'll turn the input shaft, and well, there goes the output shaft turning away. So apparently the lay shaft unaligned itself properly again. Well, I didn't get that detent out. I don't know if you can see it down there. I'll just grab it when I pull the top cover off. Hopefully it comes off easy enough, and well, and I can just pull it out. Alright, next up on the block, there are four of these. I already got two undone, but these are 15 millimeters. Those hold the studs on. I gotta get these two 11 millimeter pieces out. Then these are 14 millimeters. They're a bolt that go all the way through. After that, top cover should come clean off. Alrighty. I can just pluck that right off. Oh yeah, that's a lot of goober. Now, with any luck and a soft-faced hammer, yep, there she goes. There we go. Is that glittery oil in there? Whoop, whoop. Ah. The top detent ball. I forgot about that. See that spring there? Bugger. Well, that went down into the bowels of this contraption. I saw it up there for a split second, and then she disappeared. I'm going to grab these detents before they too decide to wander off. Put those right in there. Now, is that glittery oil? Sort of. Interesting. Note to self, get that ball detent out of there before before I try and actually run this thing. Now there it is. I can see it down there. Focus. There you go. Well, I'm going to try and get these selector shafts out. And let's see if I can remember how I did on the Series 3, or the 2A transmission that I pulled apart. They came right out for me. I've seen other people have had troubles with them. I'll start with the reverse. Oh great, I lost one of the detents. Maybe you caught that on video? So I'm missing one ball and one of these sliders. Yippee. Looks like there's a little wear on the crowns of those teeth. Hello, what are you? Are you a metal piece? Not sure. Yeah, I don't even know if you were watching. Well, I got 2 detents down in there, and we'll have to see. I'm going to take a look at this and bring you back if anything interesting happens. Well, I've got the transmission stood up in this piece of cribbing, and, well, yeah, it's fairly stable. Not too weebly wobbly. But something I've just noticed is if you watch this, yeah, that's a lot of play in there, and that'll need to be fixed. I don't know if the pin's worn or if the shaft's worn, but yeah, that's an awful lot of play, and that's a problem. Is sometimes the clutch pedal will just all of a sudden go rock solid, and it's because, well, either the pin's broke or something cracked and snapped in that line there, and basically this goes all the way down to the bottom, hits the stop on the clutch slave cylinder, and locks the pedal up solid because it never returns, and it can't push the clutch out. Input Input splines on here are immaculate. They're not worn at all. I can't even see a line where the clutch would have run. But I'm going to have to pull all these bolts out, get those 2 pins out, which this one hopefully should be a lot easier than the 2A one. I might be able to use a 2A, even though it's a different setup. Not terribly happy about changing the setup, but it's available. It's an available option. Alright, between a screwdriver and some vice grips, this should be a fairly easy thing. Just use the screwdriver to, well, try and straighten it. Give up with that. And take some vice grips, tighten it up. Find the loopy end. Try and grab it with the vice grips, and then just, pull it out. This is hard to do with one hand. Jeez. Alright, well, I'm going to do that, and I'll bring you back when it's all disconnected. Alright, now that was just a walk in the park. Slid right out. The pin does fit nicely in that hole there. So that hopefully shouldn't need replaced. Pin looks good. I'll clean that all up and show you more at a later date. Right now, I'm just going to buzz all those bolts off and slide this off, and then deal with the main shaft, deal with the lay shaft nut, then pop those 4 outer bolts, and the bell housing off, and then lay shaft out. I do want to add that I'm pretty sure these are all Whitworth fixings in there, but a 7/16 fits well enough to work on those, and then those are, I think, 9/16. What was this? Yep, 9/16. So that should get her out. Well, got those off. Actually, these bolts up here, I was wrong. They're closer to 1/2 inch, but being Whitworth, they didn't fit right. A 6.14 millimeter got the job done just fine. Now, in order to split the gasket, I'm just going to use this pry bar, and this thing should just pop right out. I say, there's, got that one. There we go. And this should just come right out, I think. Should anyways. Say drop stuff. There we go. I need to replace that bearing. That one, the cage is broken in that. Probably should replace all the bearings. Oh, you know why that? That's because lay shaft munged the thing, and then that whole bearing took the load of everything trying to twist. Yep, there's the other half of that cage. Is the ball in there? I guess that ball is rolling around in the bottom of the gearbox then. Sweet. Yeah, pull that split pin and undo that castellated nut. And then should be good to undo the 4 bolts out here and pull that off. There's a bit of glittery sludge from that bearing probably. Maddening. Well, this was going really great, and I actually got it started splitting off, except that my phone ran out of memory. I do want to add before I actually take this apart is both this castellated nut here on the lay shaft and the 4 bell housing bolts are all the same size, and they all fit 13/16 right nice. The outer ones were good and tight, but I will say that the lay shaft nut, after I got the split pin out, was basically finger tight. I mean, I don't think there was much force required, if any, to get that off. So, got all my fixings all over here. Have started to separate this. Oh, and by the way, it helps to take the transfer case lever, which bolts onto the bottom of the bell housing right there. Helps to take that off. That's just 14mm both sides. Zip that off real quick. Now, the moment of truth. Now, as I pull this off, the main shaft has what's called the constant gear attached to it, and that's what drives the lay shaft. So the constant gear should fall off the lay shaft, and I'm going to try and avoid dropping on the floor. Now, let's see if I can get this all taken off in one piece. Maybe I can stand you up here to see the carnage. Hopefully not. All right, looks like you're not going to fall over until I bump you, so you can see everything too, barely. All right, so here goes nothing. There we go. There's the main shaft with the constant gear. And as you can see, that's what drives that. Apparently it kind of is recessed. That's some goopy P90. 128 is stenciled in there, so I don't know if that's the set number, I guess. No, I got that up. There we go. That's nice. That kind of holds it all together. Fourth gear splines are a little chewy. Oh no, that's just the lighting. Fourth gear splines are good. Bearing race in there looks good. Nice. That'll be reusable. You know, this thing was running good, nice and quiet, so I'm tempted to not bother replacing anything that I don't have to. Alright, now for the carnage. Oh yeah. Oh, can you see that? That's not supposed to happen. Yep. I suspect that main shaft is, or that lay shaft is snapped. Dang. Now, what the heck? I'm a little confused as to how this works. Oh, there's the one, whatchamacallit, pin, shuttle pin thingy. There's the bottom of the lay shaft. But the gears really don't look munged to me, which is good. It means if they're not worn too bad, I can reuse it. All right, I'm just pulling this out. Not that you can see anything. I can't either. There we go. So what the heck? Why is that hollow? That doesn't make sense. I don't get this. Why is that? Why is there a big empty space in there? Okay, this will take more research. I'm turning you off, and well, one thing you can see, you can see the bearing down there. That one's not all falling apart like the one in the Suffix. What was it? Suffix D transmission. Those gears on the main shaft look unboogered. So I'll just I might just stick a new lay shaft in and live with this. Might pull a main shaft out to inspect it, see how it's wearing, but really not unhappy with that. All right, bring you back when I figure this out. All right, figured out why that looked hollow. Let me demonstrate. Now, basically, the whole thing just slid off. There we go. All right, going to slide that off because those should be reusable. All right.